So on July 5th, Paris Jetem, which is the Paris tourism site, gave new information about security measures that are starting on July 18th, leading up to the opening ceremony on the 26th. So I wanted to make this video to kind of go over those points and talk about the main attractions on the Seine that now don't require a QR code, which is the Louvre, Musée d'Orsay, and also the Eiffel Tower. And then other attractions as well that still do require a pass Jeux. And so I'll talk about the tourist attractions along the Seine from the 18th until the 26th of July, as well as the metro stations that are being impacted, and also the footbridges and regular bridges for pedestrians to be able to cross over the Seine during this time period. Bonjour tout le monde and welcome back to French Crawl. I'm Quan. All right, everyone, so here is lovely Paris. And on July 18th, the security perimeters are going to be activated. So you've got the red security perimeter. And as you can see, it covers a great deal of the area along the Seine, pretty much the entire Seine. And then the gray perimeter, which is silt, that's going to be activated as well. So on the 18th of July, this is going to be activated, and then all the way up to the 26th. And on the 26th, it's going to expand for the opening ceremony. And so keep in mind, if you're not familiar with this, mainly the red area means that you as a pedestrian or a cyclist can move around the area just fine. It's the gray area that will require a QR code or a pass Jeux, which is called the Games Pass, to be able to access that area. And so I'm going to go over the attractions along the Seine. I wanted to go over some questions that people have had that have come up during this time frame. And on the Paris site, has a good explainer on some of these things. And one of them being, you're not going to be able to apply for a pass just to be able to walk across the perimeter. So that's not going to happen. You're going to have a reason. The other thing is, people who have children, they don't need a pass Jeux or a games pass as long as they're under 13 years old. And so just keep that in mind if you have kids, or if you're a family with kids and they're younger than 13, they don't need a pass. And then the other thing is, what if you have multiple appointments? You're going to have to apply it for each individual appointment or reservation. And so if you have like a restaurant reservation, you're going to need to apply for that one. If you've got like, if you're going to Sainte-Chapelle, the church, the chapel, you're going to have to apply for that one individually as well. It's not a one pass for everything deal. It's a per appointment deal for visitors. Obviously, people who live there, work there, they're going to have a pass that lets them just go about their life daily during this time frame. So that's going to be different because they're a resident. And so I just wanted to bring up those main points because it's come up a few times. The first area, we're going to start from left to right. So starting here on the west side of Paris in Trocadero, this is going to be, the main things here are going to be the Eiffel Tower and Trocadero. And from the 18th to the 26th, you can see this area is going to be pretty blocked off. And so it's not going to be easily accessible at all. And so you could still get to it in this red area, but this gray area is blocked off. And so this is great information for that. On the Paris Jetem site, this is what this is from. And this area in Trocadero is also going to become Champions Park, which is a celebration for the athletes, which should be really cool. And so those are that's kind of a notable thing to know about the area. Now, I'm going to turn on the venues here. And so this light gray is going to be the Eiffel Tower Stadium, which is where beach volleyball, and then this is going to be the Champ de Mars Arena, which is where some other events are going to take place, I believe, judo. And then this is Trocadero over here. This is where the opening ceremony is going to take place, as well as Champions Park. And so that's what's going to be going on in this area. And so the first big attraction here, of course, is the Eiffel Tower. And so wanted to show you guys this. This is from the Eiffel Tower website. And so basically during this time frame, they're going to have their own system to get people into the Eiffel Tower. And what you're going to have to do is get an e-ticket. And there's two types. There's going to be a ticket for a timed visit. And the other e-ticket is one just to get you to the Esplanade to be able to then buy a timed ticket. And so just know that you have to have an e-ticket to then access the Eiffel Tower area. And they're going to have their own setup to get you through this area. They have not released the information yet on how that's going to work. So keep tabs on the Eiffel Tower site if you're going to go during this time frame. And also note that on the 26th, it's going to be closed, as well as the 14th and the morning of the 15th for Bastille Day. And so the other place nearby that doesn't require a QR code is going to be the Musée du quai Branly. It's like Musée du quai Branly. I don't know how to say this. I think that's how you say it. Musée du quai Branly. So this museum will not require a QR code as well. So check their site to see their process if you were wanting to go and visit the Branly. So the next big area is Invalides. And in Invalides, this area is where archery is going to take place on the Esplanade of Invalides. And then this is Grand Palais, which is where Taekwondo and fencing are going to take place. And then this is the Alexander the third bridge, Alexander. And this is where certain events are going to take place as well, like marathon swimming and triathlon. And so participants, when those competitions are happening, it's going to be closed off. And we'll talk about access to the bridge in a little bit. But that's what's going to be happening along this area of the Seine. And then next up, we're going to talk about the Louvre. This one's a big one. And so for the Louvre area, which includes Tuileries and Concorde, those are going to be Olympic sites. Concorde, Place de la Concorde is an Olympic site. And so that's going to be closed off unless you have a ticket for competition. And then the Louvre, as well as Musée d'Orsay, do not require a pass Jeux. So important thing to note. And so we'll take a look at that so you can see. So let's take a look at the Musée d'Orsay. So Musée d'Orsay here on the left bank, this is from their site. And their site is telling people now that you have to have a reservation and you do not need a QR code, which is great. This is great news. One less thing to worry about if you just wanted to go and visit. And so without, which is awesome. The way to get there is going to be here on Rue de Lille or Rue de Lille and Rue de Bellechasse. And so you go through here, which on the map, you could see Musée d'Orsay is right here. This red area, you can walk around. And so you'll just access it by going up and through here. And so that's your entrance for the Musée d'Orsay. The Louvre does not require a QR code either, and they're going to have their own way or entrance, security entrance to get into the Louvre. They have not released that information yet, so hang tight if you're wanting to visit the Louvre during that time period. And the other thing is they've not released tickets yet for the 18th through the, I believe the 24th, because they're going to be closed on July 25th and the 26th. So from the 18th to the 24th, tickets have yet to be released. So if you're wanting to go during that time frame, just know that and keep on top of the site so that when the tickets do release, you can get them. And then also they'll provide information on how to get there. As of this moment, which is July 7th, there's no information yet as to how to access the Louvre during this time frame. The other thing I wanted to point out is the Garden of Tuileries. And so obviously visiting the Louvre, Tuileries is right next to it, and it's also an amazing space in Paris itself. But because of the Olympic Games, Paralympic Games, there's a lot of construction going on. And so this is from their site. And their site is saying that from the 17th of June until September 25th, it's going to be inaccessible to the general public, or partially inaccessible. So just keep that in mind as you're visiting and you wanted to go and visit. It may be inaccessible or blocked off. So just know that. And so you can actually see that part of Tuileries is going to be blocked off for the games right here. And so you can see this area right here is blocked off as part of Place de la Concorde. The other place within this area is the Musée de l'Orangerie. Musée de l'Orangerie. And so that museum, from their site, specifically says that you still do need a QR code to go to the museum here. So they're also saying it may take up to 8 working days. So just plan ahead, know that. It may take that long. Hopefully it doesn't for you. And then they have their own specific entrance to get into the museum, which is outlined here in this image. So it's going to be Rue de Castillon, and then also the Passerelle Leopold Sédar Senghor. And so that is over here. So to access the Musée de l'Orangerie, it's going to be through here and then through here. And then you'll go down this way. Here is the museum. And so yeah, that museum still requires a QR code. I think partly because it's within the garden, so it takes a little bit of walking to get to that location. So that's why you need a QR code, as opposed to the Musée d'Orsay and the Louvre, which has access points right off the street. Okay, so moving on. So those were the big ones. And then another one I wanted to point out was Sainte-Chapelle. And Sainte-Chapelle is the chapel here on the Hôtel de la Cité, near Notre Dame. And so they require a QR code or a pass-Jeux to access it. So if you wanted to visit, just know you still do need to apply for a games pass to access Sainte-Chapelle from the 18th until the 25th of July. So just know that. And then over here, we've got the Hôtel de Ville, Ile de la Cité area, which we've kind of gone over. But just know that over at Hôtel de Ville, they're going to have the Olympic flame. over there. So if you wanted to check that out, it's going to be over there, which should be really cool. And then other information, other events, check out Paris Je t'aime, the link to see what's going on there. And then one more site that they had pointed out is going to be down here by Gare d'Austerlitz, or actually in the Latin Quarter. And that is the Institut du Monde Arabe. And so this museum also does not require a QR code, and they have pointed that out. So if you wanted to visit the Institut du Monde Arabe, you don't need a QR code. You can visit, check out their website to get tickets, and then make your way over there. So that's great as well. You don't have to worry about that. So that takes care of most of the big attractions here on the Seine from July 18th until the 26th. It's good that you don't need to get a passenger now for some of these places like the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, and Musée d'Orsay. Makes life a little bit easier. So next we'll talk about the metro stations that are going to be impacted from the 18th until the 26th and beyond at times. And so we're back on our map, and I'm going to turn on all the metro stations that are going to be closed along the Seine. So we'll start here in the west again, Trocadero and by the Eiffel Tower. So RERC is going to have several stations closed. Champ de Mars to Eiffel is going to be closed. And if you go up along it, Point de l'Alma is going to be closed as well. And then along the sea, Musée d'Orsay is going to be the other station that's going to be closed for RERC. And so going back on the right bank, line 6 Passy is going to be closed from the 18th to the 26th. This is a big one. Trocadero is going to be closed, line 6 and 9, from the 18th to the 26th. And then Iena is only going to be closed on the 24th, line 9. And then Alma Marceau, line 9, also closed. So just keep note of that. We're going to move along here. Staying on the right bank, these are the big ones that are really being impacted throughout the summer. And it's Champs-Élysées, Clemenceau. Line 1 and 13 are going to be closed during these dates. So just keep note of that. Concorde is a big one. Place de la Concorde is, of course, an Olympic venue. So that station's going to be closed. There's 3 lines, 1, 8, and 12. And these are the dates for those stations. And then Tuileries is going to be closed until September the 1st. And so keep note of that. Jumping over to the left bank, Musée d'Orsay, we have already talked about that. Going along the Seine here, we've got Pont Neuf, line 7, as well as Châtelet. Châtelet has several stations. 7 and 11 are closed, but you could still get there with 1, 4, or 14. Those will be open during this time frame. Jumping down to Ile de la Cité, Cité on line 4 is going to be closed. So keep note of that. Pont-Marie on line 7 is going to be closed. And then we've got one more down here. This is Quai de la Râpée, line 5, over here, south of Ile Saint-Louis. So those are the stations that are going to be impacted along the Seine during this time frame. But know that there's going to be more stations around Paris, including trams and other trains, that are going to be impacted on different dates. But we're just talking about this time frame for now. Next, we'll talk about the bridges along the Seine and how that's going to be impacted by security measures and whether or not you'll be able to cross or not. Before that, I wanted to bring this up from Paris Je t'aime, just talking about the quays of the Seine, or quays of the Seine, however you pronounce it. So there's not going to be any river activity from the 20th until the 26th, so no tourist cruises, I'd imagine. And so keep that in mind as well if you were thinking about taking a cruise. That's not going to happen. And then they're going to be continuing to build out the bleachers, the seating, to seat everyone for the opening ceremonies. So I think a lot of the security measures and why they're changing some of them is to limit visitors from being able to access these areas now. So you're thinking about being able to walk along the Seine and enjoy that aspect of it. If you're familiar with the word flâner or a flâneur, which is very French, they're kind of killing that in a way. So that's going to be impacted. That activity, being able to enjoy that part of visiting the city is going to be impacted tremendously by all this. So just wanted to bring that up and make note of that. So next we'll talk about the bridges. And so I'm going to zoom back out. We're going to start on the west side and go back east along the Seine again. And so here are all the bridges along the Seine that are going to be impacted. And so we'll start here on the west side. And just to note, at Point Diana, everything that goes upstream, or I'm sorry, downstream from here is going to be open. So every bridge after Point Diana is going to be open to cross. So people who are driving or crossing, just know that. So Point Diana, which connects Trocadero to the Eiffel Tower, these are going to be the dates that are impacted, and these are the dates that are going to be closed. Passerelle de Billy is going to be closed from the 8th to the 26th. But the La Lama, it's going to be, they're going to have disruptions 15th to the 23rd and be closed on the 24th to the 26th here. Point Invalides. This is one of the 4 bridges that's going to be open until 7 p.m. on the 26th. And so just know that if you're in that area, you can cross this bridge until 7 p.m., which is 30 minutes before the opening ceremony starts. So there's going to be 4 of these. Now, Pont Alexandre III. This one is also a competition site, and so it's a little bit more complicated in some ways because it's going to be closed during competitions from the 26th until August the 11th, and then again for the Paralympics from the 26th to September the 8th. But when there's no competitions on those dates, those off hours, you're going to be able to cross and use the sidewalks. And so make note of that. Place de la Concorde, those are its dates, 18th to the 23rd, some disruptions, and then closed 24th to the 26th. Passerelle Léopold Sédar Senghor. This is one of the 4 that's going to be open until 7 p.m. Pont Royal, 25th, 26th, some disruptions for cyclists and pedestrians, closed from the 16th to the 18th. Pont du Carrousel, that's going to have some disruptions, and those are its closing dates. Pont des Arts, it's going to be closed on these dates, 22nd, 24th to the 26th. Pont Neuf, those are its dates. It's going to have some disruptions as well. And as we move along to Ile de la Cité, you can see there's going to be bridges that are open, and then the black ones, there's no information on it. So I assume they're going to be closed and inaccessible. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to go across Ile de la Cité, or you're there and you're trying to get to the right bank or the left bank. And so these are the bridges that are going to be in service. Pont au Change, 12th to the 23rd, some disruptions. It's going to be closed from the 8th to the 11th, 25th to 26th with some partial closings, a partial closing on the 24th. And then Pont Notre Dame, this is one of the 4, open until 7 p.m. on the 26th. Going back on the left bank, we've got Petit Pont Cardinal Lustiger. Open until, I assume, 1 p.m. on the 26th. That's when security measures are going to change. And so the bridge, this is Pont Saint-Louis, which connects Ile Saint-Louis with Ile de la Cité. This will be open, and that's connecting it up here. Those are the dates of disruptions, and it's going to be closed the 21st, 22nd, and then the 26th. Over on the right bank, Pont Louis Philippe. It's going to be open until 1 o'clock, I assume, on the 26th, when things change as well. And then going further east, we've got Pont de la Tournelle on the left bank. Those are its dates and closing dates. And then Pont de Sully. This one is going to also be open until 7 p.m. on the 26th, but there was a structural incident in January, so it's contingent on the safety checks on the bridge, whether or not you can pass through. And then last year we've got Pont d'Austerlitz, and it's occasionally going to have access for pedestrians and cyclists from the 8th to the 23rd, and then it's going to be closed on the 24th to the 26th. And everything upstream from Pont d'Austerlitz is going to be open. So all these bridges are going to be open for vehicles and pedestrians and cyclists. And so Pont d'Austerlitz is also the site where the opening ceremony is going to start. The athletes are going to get on the boats over here, and they're going to start their journey over to Pointe-Diana for the opening ceremony. And so these are your bridges along the Seine that are going to be impacted. And then these are the four. Sully, Notre Dame, Leopold, Sédar, Senghor, and Invalides. These are the four that are going to be open until 7 p.m. on the 26th to get across. So I wanted to jump on the Anticiper le Jeux site so you could see how the map changes at 1 p.m. on the 26th. And if you watched the other video on the past Jeux, you've seen that demonstration, but I wanted to show it again here and then talk about a few other things during that time frame so you can prepare if you're going to be impacted by this. And so here back on the map, this is a representation of what we've been going through earlier on the other map I had. And so you can see on the 26th at noon, this is what it's been looking like earlier in our discussion. And so at 1 o'clock, you can see how things have changed. Do it again. 1 o'clock. Boom. You've got more restrictions for cars all the way out here. Silt, the Great Perimeter, goes all the way out to the Arc de Triomphe. So Arc de Triomphe out there. And you can see it stretches out even further at parts along the Seine. So they really want to secure that area and keep people out. And so just know that change is coming at 1 o'clock on the 26th. Now, the other thing to keep note of on this site is on Anticiper les Jeux. If you go up and go to I'm informing myself, click on opening ceremony here. It'll take you to this page where you can see security measures, but also the bridges and also all the stations that are closed. And this is stuff that I've gone over in the video with you guys. But here on the site itself, things are changing a lot on the 26th. So just know that you can see those changes here. Most noticeably, here are the bridges again that are open, and then at 7 p.m. These are the ones that are going to be open until 7 p.m., which we've gone over. But the big thing is the metro and the RER stations that are going to be closed. And I wanted to show you on the 26th, they've broken it up by time. And so before 13 a.m., I believe they mean 1300, which is 1 p.m. in the afternoon. This is what it's going to look like. And you can see all the stations that are impacted. And these are the stations that we've gone over already in the video earlier. But at 1 o'clock until 6 o'clock in the afternoon, until the evening, this is what's going to happen. And these are the stations that are going to be impacted. And then from 6 p.m. until 9:30, it's going to change again. More stations, different impacts, and some lines are going to close, like line 6 is going to be completely closed during that time frame, which is the before and during the Olympic ceremony. And then from 9:30 until 11:15 at night, it's going to change yet again. And so I just wanted you to see this, to know that it's there, and that you can use this to plan ahead, and just know that things are changing within blocks of time on the 26th because of all the things that are happening. So just be aware of this site. It's Anticiper les Jeux. I'm going to put the link in there. It's going to be one of those sites that's really going to be really helpful to plan during the Olympics and Paralympics. And then the other site is the Paris Je t'aime site, which is a tourism site. I put a link in the description for this page. I think it's a really helpful page to help you navigate during this time frame, and also to check out other things that are happening in Paris, around Paris, west, east, north, south, that the Olympics are doing and offering for people. And I think it's really cool. A lot of free activities, a lot of cool things. And so you should check it out, read up on it, just so you know what's going on. And then the PDF that has all this information, the link is in the description as well. And this is the PDF that they released on July the 5th. So check it out as well. I appreciate everyone taking the time to watch the video. I wanted to get this out quickly. This information just came out the other day, so I wanted to get it out because I'm going to be traveling next week to France for the Olympics. And also, I'm actually based in Houston, and Hurricane Beryl is supposed to make landfall soon. So I wanted to get this out before electricity goes out. Hopefully not. But c'est la vie. That's kind of life here on the coast. So if you're going to the Olympics, I wish you safe travels and to have an awesome time. I hope this information helps you plan, and hopefully makes life a little bit easier if you don't have to get a QR code now to go out to some of these attractions. And so, yeah, wish you a great time, and a bientôt. See you soon.